Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us on Ask a Priest. And my name is Sunil Chandy. I am the priest and rector here at Christ Episcopal Church. And this is a ministry out of Christ Episcopal Church in Westerly, Rhode Island. And the intent of this program is to really just ask a priest, or just any priest, me especially, a question that they might have in terms of their that you might have in terms of your understanding what religion is all about. And so today's question, I think, is if you could have a conversation with any biblical figure, who would that be? And so that's a question to me. And so I got to tell you, this one actually stumps me a little bit because I love the Bible and love the characters of the Bible, right? And of course, there's a sense that when we read about their stories, where we are and read about who they are and how they react to situations in the story, within the biblical story, we are having a conversation with them, especially if you do Bible study. If you do Bible study with any church or community of people with a good Bible and maybe a number of different translations, and then also with a concordance, you could flesh out some of the culture and the context of these stories, and you might be able to really think in some way, embed yourself in that conversation, and think in some way the, of how these characters might actually think. And when you can have a conversation in that way, you can learn about them. But so back to the question, who would I like to have a conversation? I would, I'll tell you, Jesus is one on that list. Noah's another person. Abraham's another person. Paul would be another one. Timothy would be another person. I would even love to have a conversation with Judas or Peter or Matthew, those disciples, or even Jacob, the father, whose name became who became the father of Israel, right? And or Esau, his brother. I'd love to have conversations. I'd love to have conversations with Ruth or Deborah in the Old Testament, or Mary Magdalene, or even Mary, the mother of Jesus. There are many people, but I think the person that I would most like to have a conversation with is Joseph. Joseph in the Bible, not Joseph, the father of Jesus necessarily, but Joseph, the son of Jacob. And Joseph's story is found in Genesis. And Joseph is, I mean, they make this wonderful Broadway play, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Hey, there's Donny Osmond right there. And he's Joseph. Yeah, he reminds me of Joseph, right? And so the thing with Joseph, the reason why I want to meet him is because he's a man who was brilliant. He had many different gifts, but he faced many different challenges. And the thing about Joseph was that through his challenges, he never gave up his faith, and he was able to find wisdom, use the wisdom that God grants him. He discerns through all of his challenges how to deal with the challenges and to move forward. And I think this is important for us in this day, because we wonder how to live in a world filled with challenge. We live in a world that we're constantly buffeted with obstacles that prevent us from living the way we want to, and we're frustrated. And Joseph was able to, in the midst of his challenge, and there were many. I mean, the poor guy he was the son of Jacob, but then he was betrayed by his brothers who sold him into slavery at first, and some of them wanted to kill him. He was sold into slavery in Egypt, and he worked his way in slavery to earn the respect of a man named Potiphar, who was an official in the Egyptian system, and then he was falsely accused of raping his wife, and then he was put into jail, and then in jail he was in the Egyptian jail system. He was persecuted there, and yet through it all, he never forgot his faith in God, and God gave him opportunities and visions and the ability to discern and think through things, and according to scriptures, the ability to discern um, dreams, and it was this ability to discern dreams that allowed him to get into contact with Pharaoh, the world's most powerful man at that time. Eventually, Pharaoh appointed Joseph, this former slave, this young man who had many different challenges in life. He appointed this man to be his second in command, and to be the second most powerful man in all the world at that time. And what is really compelling for me about Joseph is that even when he was in that situation of great power and influence, he had the ability to forgive and have compassion, even forgiving his brothers. And there's this one scene in the Bible where Joseph is revealed himself to his brothers, and they're all crying, and the brothers are wondering if they're going to be killed by this powerful man. And Joseph basically said, "Am I in the place of God? You know, I forgive you. I embrace you. I love you, my brothers." And he just wanted connection to his family. And so I would love to have a conversation with him, just asking how did he do it? How did he maintain that faith? But in a sense, I know already. It's about the actual engaging in faith and living a life in right relationship with God. I think that's what we struggle to do each day in and day out. And I'm sure I already know the answer that he would give me. And that is that it's a hard journey, but if you keep working at it and you keep doing it, and eventually you'll find a place where God leads you to higher ground, even in the midst of challenge. So again, there are other people too, but Joseph is the man for me. And I hope that, and I'm sure that you might have other people that you'd probably want to talk to. Jesus, I mean, why isn't Jesus on my list? Well, Jesus is on my list, but again, I think scriptures allow us to have a conversation with these folks, and our prayers for Jesus, our prayers to also enable us to have a conversation. Thanks, and I hope that everything is good with you, and I hope that you will continue your journey of faith, and may God bless you.
Thanks for watching. Did you know that you can join Christ Church from anywhere in the world? If you're feeling connected to what we're doing, email us today at communicate@christchurchwesterly.org.